while ago, I prepped a big batch of flaky biscuits since I was running low, but the only problem was that I made them like my personality, way too flat. After months of eating buttery crackers, I can finally start fresh and redeem myself at making my flaky biscuits because they truly deserve to reach new heights. Thank you to John Cannell from Preppy Kitchen for the foundation of this recipe. Just like last time, the key to making delicious biscuits is not actually love, but a freezing cold heart and freezing cold hands. Lucky for me, I have both. I'll start by getting my dry ingredients: flour, sugar, salt, and baking powder. To a bowl, I'll add 480 grams or 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, and 2 teaspoons of salt. Then, I'll tiny whisk the dry mixture. This time, I wanted to try a new technique. In the past, I've chopped a couple sticks of butter into small pieces, but this time, I froze my butter to rock hard and will grate them into my dry mixture. This hopefully avoids the painful process of manually crushing all the butter chunks, but I seem to have discovered a new form of suffering with grating the frozen butter. Now that it's finally grated, I'll mix it all together. I'll add 1.5 cups of cold milk and combine it until it reaches slight cohesion. I'll dump it onto my workstation and work it into a square. It's usually not this sticky, so I'll have to dust it and myself with some flour. Since this is a pastry, not bread, I'll avoid kneading it as I do not want the gluten to develop, which just means that it gets lots of good pats. Now that it's a buttery rectangle, I can start making the flaky layers. When checking some math, the letter folding technique is my preferred way to add layers to the biscuits. Once my dough is rolled out like a rectangle, I'll fold it like a letter into thirds. I'll rotate it 90 degrees and fold it again into thirds. I'll repeat this 2 more times to get 729 total layers. Now this is where everything went wrong last time. After the last lamination, I got a little too roller pin happy and rolled them out flat as a pancake. This is mostly because I made cinnamon rolls just before that and needed to roll those out super flat. To avoid that, I'll set my rolling pin aside and pat it down to about 1/3 to 1/2 inch thick. Since I keep my regular milk biscuits as squares and my buttermilk ones as circles, I'll begin tracing some straight lines to cut along. Once they're all cut out, I'll line them on a baking sheet. I'll grab the 2 prettiest ones and freeze the rest. I'll bake them in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. As expected, they baked well and the flaky layers really popped off. Overall, it's hard to describe how good these are straight out of the oven, but I'm so happy that they finally look like biscuits. The grating technique didn't save me much time, but rather saved a different part of my arm from being sore, but I did meet my goal of redeeming myself at making my flaky biscuits as they finally reached greater heights. Thank you!